The Daily Wire is without a doubt the largest and most successful right-wing media pundit group on YouTube. They are based pretty much entirely online, and they have a massive audience and a massive reach, and they are funded by billionaires. Billionaires that are not like barely billionaires, but comfortably billionaires. And the reason they're being funded by those billionaires is to preserve the best interest of said powerful billionaires. Now, this is no secret. This is not a bombshell I'm dropping on you. I just thought it'd be best to kind of give you a little, for people who might be joining that are new, I thought it'd be best to give them a little bit of a refresher on what the Daily Wire is, because they've got a whole lineup of hosts. And many of you know some of those hosts, but most of you don't know all of them. One of the lesser-known hosts is Andrew Klavan. He's a bald, grody old man who you know probably best from when he went semi-viral back when The Witcher Netflix show first came out with its first season. There was a trailer where Queen Calanthe was seen holding a sword for a second, and Andrew Klavan was spurned into a rant about how, quote-unquote, no woman ever could beat any man ever in a sword fight. Everybody jumped down his throat for this, for how wrong it was. Even people who nowadays are chud right-wing grifters like Shadiversity responded to him and pointed out how blatantly wrong he is and how much the art of sword fighting is not a primarily strength-focused sport, and that there is a reason why there have been famous sword fighters who are women in history. There have been, who have beat many men. Because primarily when it comes to sword fighting, while strength is a big part of it, it's more about you have to have enough strength. If you have enough strength, having more strength than that doesn't help. From there, it's about technique, because it's about how you manipulate the weight of the blade, right? So, for example, a lot of very, advanced fencing and sword fighting techniques involve flicking the blade in a way that makes it so, the weight of, the hilt of the blade almost, transfers a whipping motion against your, opponent's sword, smacking the sword out of the way with a lot of force, for how little weight, is going into it. And then you just open up their guard for a jab, it's that kind of stuff. Granted, you have to have a certain level of weight to be, or of strength to be able to flick that, 3-pound sword, 2-pound sword, 5-pound sword, depending on what kind it is, that way to break a guard. But once you have that much strength, being a 200-pound man and being a 300-pound man of muscle isn't going to make a difference. It's going to be your technique. And speed and other factors, footwork, other such things. But everybody jumped down his throat for this because it was a very blatantly misogynistic and just... It wasn't that he was misogynistic that everyone was dunking on him. It was that he was wrong blatantly and lying about, showing how wrong he was in a very stupid and open way to be misogynistic, for the purpose of misogyny. Usually they're better at, hiding how stupid their arguments are for the purpose of misogyny, racism, etc. But that time, they were just so blatant with their stupidity and how mask off they were that everybody jumped down their throat. I fenced for 5 years. If Klavan or any other untrained bladesman got into a fight with any junior female fencer, the only thing they'll win is a swift funeral procession. Yeah, I mean, there are cases where, inexperienced fencers can actually have the upper hand on an experienced fencer because they don't know what to do, and the experienced fencer's expecting moves from someone who knows what to do, protecting themselves, etc. So, yeah. It depends, but yeah, I know what you mean. He's completely wrong. Anyway, check this out, guys. Not Minecraft, the screen here. This is Andrew Klavan's new upload from a month ago. It has 15,000 views. Andrew Klavan has nearly 1 million subs, nearly 800,000 subs, is a Daily Wire host, and pulls viewership worse than me. This is the type of viewership I get on a video in a few days. He is falling off, because, let's be honest, he is the least talented and least charismatic of the 4 stooges that run this joint. With that said, His channel's falling off, couldn't be happier to see it, but he made a new video called "The Right Must Not Give In to Evil and Hatred. The Future of the Right," Andrew Tate and Nick Fuentes. So for those that don't know, the Daily Wire does not play well with others, particularly since Ben Shapiro got, like, ambushed by Groypers with Nick Fuentes in Florida. I think it was at, like, an Orlando TPUSA, whatever the type event. I forget exactly what the details are. It was like a TPUSA or a CPUSA. I forget what the title of those things are, because there's just so many acronyms they use. It was one of those events. You guys know what I'm talking about. Nick Fuentes and his Groyper gang ambushed Ben Shapiro, started calling him Jewish and all that stuff. And so, you know, Ben Shapiro since then has not had a lot of love for, like, the more radical Nazi types online. Like, he enables them, he plays into their hand with his propaganda, but it is very clear he does not like them personally, and he has said as much. And so he's also kind of trying to make Daily Wire move in lockstep with that. This is part of that schism in the right that kind of happened around the time of Donald Trump doing Jan 6th. We're gonna see how this goes. I'm pretty sure this video is going to be Daily Wire, Andrew Klavan shitting on Andrew Tate and Nick Fuentes. We're gonna be seeing some right-wing infighting here, so there's really nothing else to do other than sit back and enjoy it. Let's watch.
I want to talk a little bit about the right and things that concern me on the right. Later this week, you will see a conversation I'm going to have with my son, Spencer Klavan, no relation, and Michael Knowles. You know, I think I was begging me to come on. I had to do something. But no, we're going to talk about the future of the right. And right now, the future of the right is really up for grabs, and it's very uncertain which way it's going to go. And I personally...
So what he's doing right now is trying to talk about calmly and rationally a situation for Republicans that is terrifying. The Republicans are afraid. They are really, really scared. And rightfully so. Their policies are not popular with Gen Z. They're not popular with the youth. Their beliefs are not popular with the youth. People are not receptive to the idea of voting Republican, and each new generation, or each new, like, batch of Gen Z and young people that hits voting age, is getting more and more progressive and vote blue no matter who. With that said, the Republicans know that. It's why their rhetoric has started to move away from convincing people, and particularly Zoomers, why they should vote Republican or why they should support the Republicans. And instead, it has moved on to trying to convince already existing Republicans and potential legislators that the age for voting needs to be raised and that we need to do everything in our power to restrict the ability to vote for particular groups of people, such as kids, such as people who live in low-income neighborhoods. Basically, voter disenfranchisement has become their new strategy now that they know winning fair and square, or not even winning fair and square, winning via cheating isn't, winning via soft cheating isn't an option anymore. Now they've got to try to win, like, through full-on, like, obstruction.
This moment, and maybe I'll change my mind about this, I personally right now feel that Donald Trump is standing in the way of that future, even though he paved the way for that future. And I know that's tragic and I know that's annoying, but I feel that that's where we are. But that's not the thing I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is when we see the way that hate has deformed the left, we should look to ourselves as well. It's just such an important thing to do. It is so easy. I remember sitting once and talking to a dentist.
My favorite thing about conservative rhetoric is how very often they talk about how evil the left is, and then they describe things that they either want to do or have done or are doing that the left has never done. Like, it's always some projected ass shit, you know? I guess it's pretty funny. Evil. I mean, to be clear, evil will always try to convince good that good is bad, you know? I'm pretty sure even Andrew Klavan would admit that, and then claim that that's me. I don't know. Let's resume.
I think it was, who was railing about how the left would not talk to right-wingers, how the left canceled right-wingers. And at the end of this conversation, he said, and so what I do now is if I find out somebody is on the left, I just won't let them into my practice. I thought, well, what? You just said that you become what you beheld. And I know that feels like revenge, and I know that feels like if they're going to be dirty, we've got to be dirty. If they're going to be hateful, we've got to be hateful. I don't think so.
So essentially what he doesn't like is the fact that so many conservatives out there, like in his audience and in his sphere, actually buy the bullshit. He doesn't like that. He doesn't like that so many people on the right in his sphere, or not in his sphere, but like that like support him, actually buy the bullshit. And they actually have emotional attachment to this stuff and get mad at the left for their cancellations or whatever. And, nice. Oh, yeah, I got that add-on, or that mod that changes how advancements display, so that's pretty cool. Whenever I get a advancement on 2B now, it'll be like a big deal. It'll pop up like that. What I'm pretty sure he's trying to do is convince people in his audience that are watching, that are actually emotionally bought into this stuff, who do things such as, oh yeah, well, if the left is going to ban people from their stuff, I'm going to ban the left from my stuff. He doesn't like that, because it's not about actually principally believing in any of the stuff the right believes in for him and those that he works with. It's about winning. And if the right actually lives by their principles and emotionally believes the things that they believe, they won't win if they actually live by the principles they claim to live by. They have to like forego that and focus 100% on winning. So that's what the point of his video is going to be, is that having emotional like attachment to these issues and actually caring makes it harder for you to win. Makes it harder for the right to win.
I've talked a lot about Andrew Tate, and the reason I've talked a lot about Andrew Tate is because I understand that masculinity and men are under attack and that they struggle with that. Some people like me don't care what people tell me about masculinity.
The funny thing is, like, they've been saying this shit about masculinity being under attack for, like, literally since I was a teenage boy. Literally since I was a boy, they've been saying that manhood has been under attack. And it's like, now I'm a man, and it's like, wow, that was all bullshit. But now I'm looking and I'm watching as, like, a new generation of teenage boys are going through that same phase that I was going through back then, and the same types of dudes, sometimes in some cases, the same dudes are using the same rhetoric and the same talking points to convince them of the same, like, ideas that, just like I did, they'll eventually grow out of and realize we're all bullshit.
About me, but a lot of other people are deeply affected by it. And as I've said before, I think what this really is an attack on femininity. But in order for them to get rid of femininity, they have to push women into men's spaces. And in order to push women into...
So he's trying to do some, like, pseudo-woke... Actually, my transphobia is in an effort to protect women because the end game of the left is actually to hurt women. And that's why okay. We're the real feminists.
Men's spaces, they have to make men less because women are not as good at being men as men are, because women are women and men are men.
So true.
Obviously, the opposite is also true. Men are not as good at being...
So true. Actually real. So true. That's the left's goal. We're trying to replace cis women because we believe that men are better at being women than women. So real.
Women as women are. But still, I think that the attacks on men have been very telling and have really hurt men a lot. And women.
By the way, everything conservatives say is projections, so you know for a fact this is what he thinks. I guarantee you Andrew Clavin is a chaser, and I guarantee you he deep down thinks that, like, trans women are actually hotter than cis women, and the reason is because he thinks they're men still, and that men are better at being women than women are, is his logic. I guarantee it. That's how he... Wow, Physics Mod, you are just... You're doing it. You're doing it. Yeah, I think that's his logic. Sounds gay, not gonna lie. Oh yeah, it's definitely gay.
Women don't know how to handle
It's
it because now
definitely
women
that.
think that they are supposed to be doing men's jobs, and everybody's miserable. Everybody is sexually miserable. And so Andrew Tate comes along and he responds to this in a hostile way, basically strutting around, saying that his power depends on his ability to manipulate women. And recently he gave a lengthy interview to Tucker Carlson. You all know he's been charged with human trafficking and luring women, forming an organized crime group, luring women into doing pornography and all this. And he did an interview with Tucker Carlson on Twitter that just got incredible ratings on Twitter. And it was in this interview, he was very plausible. He says, I'm strong, that usual thing these guys have, strong, so they want to destroy me.
So the info about this case is so out that it's actually insane. Andrew Tate is he is absolutely he's doing his best to play, I'll be okay. Like, he is really trying to pretend like he's gonna be all right and like he's gonna get out of this and he's gonna get vindicated. But guys, he's really not all right. He's really not gonna be okay. I highly recommend you look at some of the videos I've done where I react to Willie Mack Show's coverage of Andrew Tate's trial, or Andrew Tate's case. The evidence, the witnesses, the the people that are coming out and accusing him. He's got several charges of rape against minors coming out in this. It is so over. He's been bugged multiple times admitting like the prosecution has multiple bugged audio of him outright admitting in private to the crimes that he's been accused of. He multiple leaked instances of texts and bugged audio of him threatening the victims with violence if they go to the police. It is so over. Every bit of veneer of, oh, I'm all right, oh, I'm gonna be okay, oh, they're just coming after me and I'm gonna get out of this, that he's been putting forward, it is all a front. He is dead terrified. He is shitting himself. He knows he is going away for a long time and that he does not have long as a free man, and he is trying to soak up as much success and happiness as he can while he is still a free man.
Basically said, oh no, I don't do anything to women that I shouldn't do. Well, my friend Liz Wheeler, who I really am fond of, and I think she's just a very, very bright, incisive commentator, she tweeted out a compilation that she got off Milk Bar TV on YouTube, showing the things that this guy has actually said over the years. Now, because of the books I've written, I have done a lot of research into prostitution and into pimping. And pimps all say certain things about how they manipulate women.
No, we're getting an unironic takedown of Andrew Tate by Andrew Klavan and Daily Wire here. This is because the right is schisming. Even though, as we speak, conservative propaganda from the Daily Wire still plays into the hands of, it helps to get people towards being gropers and towards being Andrew Tate fans. Although I'd more so say being an Andrew Tate fan gets you closer to getting towards being a Daily Wire fan. I feel like most people would be more likely to start out with Andrew Tate and then get into Daily Wire, at least in that demographic that Andrew Tate's going for. But no, this is just clear evidence of right-wing infighting.
And women can,
we get to enjoy it.
Be manipulated. Women have a certain psychology that's shaped, funnily enough, like their body, sort of. It's shaped like a pizza with a wedge missing. Their psychology.
What?
Please don't be insulted by that. I think it is there so that they have a space for a baby to come into, someone to give themselves to entirely, who needs them entirely. And so it is a way to manipulate them, to fill up that space and make them feel that you are the thing that they need, and then get them to do what you want them to do. And all pimps know this, and all of them know how to suck a girl in. Obviously, they go after troubled girls who haven't had the love
I thought
that
it was
would
going to say
help
suck
them
a girl
negotiate
off.
this in their lives, and they know how to make them do what they want to do. And so Liz put out this compilation of some of the things that Andrew Tate has said, and it's difficult to watch, but this is just some of it he said, and he talks about the fact that he has he sleeps with girls, gets them to love him, and then manipulates them into doing pornography, for which he takes most of the money that he gets. And guys fall in love with these girls on OnlyFans sites, and they want to send money, and he takes that money. And then when they get out of line, he does what all pimps do with their prostitutes. He beats them. And here's just a little clip of this.
I used sex as a tool to make women love me so they'd obey me and live in my house to make me money.
I do love how, like, uncool Andrew Clavin is.
Some ideas?
As he tries to explain this.
You want some ideas?
Like, he has no, like...
That's right, lock the door, you knew I was going to beat the out of you. If you behaved, I wouldn't have to hit you, would I?
Yeah, this is the footage.
Don't. Get out. You can't stay in there forever.
Once again, this is an IQ test, right? Because any guy...
So, like, yeah, like, those videos have been, like, leaking all over the internet, like, the evidence videos of him threatening and assaulting the victims. It's overwhelming how much is out and how f***ed he is. All right, we need a zombie villager. That's what I'm looking for right now. Like, Andrew Tate is really, really screwed. I actually tried to find that exact video along with a couple others on stream recently, and I could not find that video. I could not find any of these videos I'd been referencing, but then I watched a Willie Mack Show video about, updating on the trial, on, like, the criminal charges and everything, and he reveals that Andrew Tate has actually been paying a lot of money for a social media team he has to scrub the internet of the clips and videos and VODs of him outright admitting to what he's been accused of. Because most of the things that he's being charged with, he's outright admitted to doing online numerous times. And so I tried to find those clips, and he has actively been scrubbing them. So, you know what? If the Daily Wire wants to use their resources and money and power to dig up these, like, horrible clips of Andrew Tate that he's used his money and power to bury and scrub off the internet, then, and get out of the SEO, then, and out of Google search results, then I invite it. I fully invite it. Yeah, he sold a course on how to do this, by the way. Like, that is how fried Andrew Tate is. He's done.
Guy who's bad with women would look at it and go, Tate's a woman beater.
I say it. Look at the camera. This is what happens, you don't listen. Look at the camera. Why are you getting hit? Why are you getting beaten? You don't listen. You. Do as I say.
Any man who's actually a G, who's been around a little bit, would look at the video and go, man, she wants that.
She wants that. So
no.
This guy's trash. He's trash. He's not an alpha male. He's a garbage guy. He's like he's a
rare Andrew Clavin W.
As low as you can go, and he knows things that work. If you're bad, you know, it works. It works to tell an old lady you're going to give her, a Ponzi scheme works. Con games work on old people who don't know any better, and they invest everything they have. Just because they do it doesn't mean you do it, because it's wrong, right? And this is the thing, that if the right is going to be guided by reactionary hatred, then we are going to be the left. We're going to be no better than the left. The other guy like this I've talked about is Nick Fuentes, who made a speech recently.
Wait, does he not know what reactionary means by definition? Like, the right is by definition reactionary. The entire movement of conservatism is based around fighting against modernity and progression. You are either progressive or conservative. Those are the two diametrically opposed political paradigms. You're either in favor of like progressive whatever the fuck, or you're trying to harken back to something old from the past. There are many different political ideologies that do this, but that's the core of it. There are the people who are trying to achieve something new that hasn't been done before, usually better, and there are people who idealize the past and want to go back to that old thing that doesn't exist anymore. Damn, no zombie villagers today, chat. I might have to add them to my mob tracers. Yoink! Okay.
At the America First meeting, here is what he said.
You think it might be a problem that the people that are running your base, that are making the movies your children watch.
Ben Shapiro's gotten them
they believe that
talking
all
against Nick
Christians
Fuentes now.
must die? Yeah. It's a big problem. It's a huge problem. We're in a holy war, and I will tell you this. Because we're willing to die in the holy war, we will make them die in the holy war.
Oh no, Andrew Clavin thinks that, like, showing this clip... So, what Andrew Clavin is doing right now doesn't work on his audience. For those that don't know, by the way, this video has a 50-50 dislike to like ratio. The one we're watching right now from Andrew Clavin, this video has a 50-50 dislike to like ratio and 15,000 views on Andrew Clavin's channel. Andrew Clavin, one of the 4 big Daily Wire hosts. That should put into perspective just how bad the situation is for right-wingers when they decide, like, for moderate, like, Daily Wire-style right-wingers, when they decide to say, hey, look, see this Nazi shit, this overt Nazi shit? That's bad. Insane amount of pushback.
And they will go down. We have God on our side, and they will go down with their satanic master. They have no future in America. The enemies of Christ have no future in this world.
So he's talking about destroying the Jews. This is the other thing. That he's another clown that I hear right-wingers making excuses for. They are doing this to us, so we have to do that to them.
Wait, Andrew Clavin, are you advocating for cancellation right now? Is that what is that what I hear right now, Andrew Clavin? Are you advocating for Nicholas J. Fuentes, Dolphin, to get canceled? Are you in favor of cancel culture? My God. How could you, Andrew Clavin? Like, he's advocating for cancel culture, for the right to cancel Nick Fuentes and Andrew Tate. Yeah, this is cancel culture advocacy.
This hatred that distorts everything. It makes you turn away from your own values. It makes you stop doing your job. And in the end, it makes you do evil. And then once you do evil, you're caught. Once you do evil, the devil has you in his clutches, because in order to get away from it, you have to admit what you did. And sometimes the damage is irreparable and the shame is incredibly painful. And so then you just keep going down that road. I think we are on a turning point in our society, and I think that the right is going to win. I don't know that because it's the future, and I don't know what the future is any more than anybody else, but I see signs of it, and I'll talk about this another day. I'm running out of time here, but I see signs of it. The tide is turning. They have gone too far.
I see signs of it. I'll talk about it later.
The things that we do work, and the things that we say are true, and as long as that remains true, then when we win back this culture, and I see it happening, I can see the first cracks in the ice, and it's so exciting and thrilling and encouraging. But I don't want us to lose our way. I do not want us to become what we beheld. Believe me, we are not immune to hate. We are not immune to corruption. We are not immune to sin. Obviously, that is the truth.
Oh, you know.
So, it's not enough to beat them. It's not enough to beat them. We have to beat them and remain who we are. And I just wanted to say that this is an important...
Did I not tell you, chat? Did I not literally tell you, chat, that his main argument against Andrew Tate and Nick Fuentes is that they're too mean, and that he believes in civility politics and their rudeness will make it harder for the right to win in the long run, and that this is all just like they're upset over strategy, because the Daily Wire's whole thing is making money by pushing right-wing politics and helping, like, right-wing politicians win. Nick Fuentes is an ideologue. Nick Fuentes believes in Nazism. He is a Nazi. He wants the, like, Nazis to win. He wants Nazi shit to be happening. He doesn't care about Republicans winning. He doesn't care about the Republican establishment getting by or like, he cares about, like, exterminating the Jews. And so there's a fairly decent amount of, God damn, there's a fairly decent amount of ideological disagreement going on here between not ideological disagreement, I should say, practical disagreement going on that is causing them to not get along. It's just outright right-wing infighting like what you're used to seeing on the left, and it makes me happy. I love seeing it.
Important thing to remember, that that's who those guys are. They're trash, and we don't need them at all. They can just jump off the end of the ship, and we can sail
Rare
forward
W.
to something really better than we're in today. For more great content like
Yeah, so basically his argument is that we can win without Andrew Tate and Nick Fuentes. Unsubscribe to them and come watch the Daily Wire. That's basically the gist of it, from my understanding. Yeah. Pretty weak video, honestly. I mean, I actually do think it was a good takedown of Andrew Tate. Not so much of Nick Fuentes, but I do think it was a good takedown of Andrew Tate. I think chances are the majority of Daily Wire fans probably aren't okay with, like, outright, blatant, like, here is a Romanian sex trafficker beating the woman who he is raped and sex trafficked and screaming, "This is why you deserve to get hit. This is why you deserve to get hit. Tell me why I'm hitting you right now. Tell me why you deserve this." Like, I'm pretty sure, like, even most Daily Wire fans aren't cool with that. As demonic as Daily Wire fans tend to be, I don't think they're cool with that generally.